Well, you have this very positive and upbeat and happy disposition. Like talking to you, like I would have no idea that you've been through such traumatic things.
I love life. I actually really love
And you
life.
help a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I love to be on my own. I love to just do Petra. I can be on my own for 10 hours, not knowing I'm sitting somewhere for 10 hours, not doing anything, not feeling bad. I think I can be happy with myself because I learned to love life so much. It took me many years. It really took me many years. But I love every day. I even love the bad days
Yeah.
because I think even the bad day, maybe I don't like it at that moment, but 2 days later, I can get myself out of bad situation really good.
You said something earlier about going back to the place where you lost yourself.
Yeah.
And then you found yourself.
Yeah.
And what place was that?
That was really the Bronx. I kind of went through a really tough situation, and I think it was such a tough situation because you know how everything crumbles together at once, and I think my past crumbled together on me, and it happened in New York. If I would have not had my past, maybe it would have not had a big effect on me, but it did, and I thought I would never come back to this place. And I went home to Berlin, and everybody looked at me like, oh, this is not her. And it really got me down because I realized, oh my God, you still have work to do. And after like 2-3 months, I decided, no, this is not you. This is not you. You're not going to let anyone take so much power over you. And I went to my kids because I talk about everything with my kids. And I said, I think I need to go back to the place where I lost myself to find myself. And they were so happy. So I booked a flight to New York City for the first time on my own. I haven't been here much before. And, you know, looking for a place in New York is like,
A needle in a haystack.
oh my God. And to really go for a healing journey to New York is I don't know if this is a city where you have to have money. So, you know, I found a place in the Bronx, and I talked to the Airbnb person because I told her I'm a little bit skeptical because it was right after COVID. And I was a little bit scared too because my brother died on COVID. So, and she was so nice and she gave me so much comfort. I was like, okay, let's try this. I was brought up so when you know, my mom kicked me out, I was brought in the worst area in Berlin. So I knew what it felt like. And I was like, okay, maybe the Bronx is really good for me because, you know, maybe I can ground myself. But the first 2 days, I have to say, I was in my room and I was thinking, oh my God, why are you doing this? What is wrong with you, Petra? I didn't want to go outside. So I'm this blonde woman in the Bronx from Germany. And the Airbnb woman said, why don't you start with a hip hop cafe at the corner? It's a really cool place. I know the owners. I started there. I went there. I was on the phone with my daughter speaking German because I was a little bit feared to go in there by myself. And I went in there speaking German. Everybody turned around, and I actually never left. I was never welcomed in my life the way I was welcomed in the Bronx. It was so amazing. And I met so beautiful, talented people. And I was like, oh my God. And, you know, I was so, it just took it took a big toll on me. I was like thinking about everybody. And I was like, this was you many years ago. And I started talking to everybody. And then, you know, I decided to interview them, wrote like things down. And then I called a friend. I was like, I think I want to write a book about the Bronx and their people. And everybody thought it was cool. And I just felt there got to be a reason why I'm there. You know how when you're at certain places, and I always ask friends, why am I here? Why the Bronx? This is so strange. And like my one friend said, well, I knew it. who knows a lot about me. He said, I knew it all along why, you got attracted to the Bronx, because you had a very rough life. And I wanted to bring the Bronx to Berlin because I wanted to show the other side of the world that not everything you hear is exactly the truth. And during my process, I talked to Kiss FM and we came up with the idea why we don't do a project out of this. And this is how, my book From the Bronx to Berlin came to reality, and my project From the Bronx to Berlin came to reality. But without Kiss FM, I could have never done that. So.
Yeah. And that's where you're going out and you're searching for talent.
Right.
And giving people opportunities who oftentimes may feel overlooked or don't have the opportunity. You said something earlier that not everyone is lazy.
Yes.
Just not everyone gets a chance.
Yes. And, growing up the way I grew up, and I had the stamp on my head too, is like, people don't know your story. And when you cannot do certain kind of things, people are judged out there so much.
And they stereotype you and
everybody. So I was walking around really crazy growing up, like really crazy. I mean, I think I did every face, but nobody knew why. So, and looking at the young people in the Bronx, the way they kind of fight, they just want to be heard. They want to be seen, but nobody sees them, or not a lot of people. And when I heard stories, so amazing, unbelievable stories, so sad stories, and I think I got very attached to their stories. And I was like, why don't I do for people what nobody done for me? I wish I would have had someone who believed in me, who would have gave me a chance. Because it's easier when somebody believes in you.
Sure.
It changes your vision. It changes your way.
Changes your life.
Yes. And I just, I cannot help everybody. I wish I could. And I'm not even the kind of person who does that, because if I have to turn people down, it's so hard for me. You just don't know. When I did this last year and I had to tell people I'm sorry you didn't win, I wanted to cry.
Right.
Because I know what it feels like.
Sure.
But that's the game. I just hope, that people see I'm trying.
Well, here's the thing, too. There's, you don't always get, like, everything you want.
No.
And I think the thing in training people in that space. So, for example, you're giving people an opportunity to audition and to try out. You're also helping them build the mental fortitude, right, to either go back and improve in areas that they need to improve on, right? So just so the listeners understand, like, what we're talking about. So you have this contest, where you let people come audition for an opportunity to win an internship in Berlin at the radio station.
Correct.
At KISS.
Correct.
Yes.
And everything is provided. They're going to have a German course there. So they're going to learn German.
Yeah.
This time we have Foot Locker on board. So they're going to have a really nice streetwear photo shoot. And they're going to have this big opportunity to learn everything about the radio station. They're going to have their own radio show. I mean, the last contestant, he produced his own song over there. And we really you don't have to have this great talent. You just have to have
potential.
Interest, potential, and you have to have great energy.
And I love why you're doing what you're doing is because I feel like this industry has lost its cultivation of talent.
It's
right?
true.
Where you have someone who has potential, and like maybe they don't have all the facets of like but you can build them up and you can build a star, right? Like that's what I loved about radio as a kid, is that like you watch somebody be built into a star, where I feel like we're in this very microwave society now where things come, they have to be already ready, they have to be already popular, and no one sews into anybody anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think I saw my son grew into that. So when my son started radio, he started very, very small. I mean, they gave him, it took him so long to even get a little show. Then he got this 2-hour R&B show, and at night. So where there are not many listeners.
But you get your practice.
You get your
You pay your
practice.
dues.
And I still remember so many years ago his first show. And of course, proud mom. And first thing he said, I'm going to call my biggest fan. And my phone was ringing. And I was like, you know, when we talk about it now, how he started,
Yeah.
I mean, and he runs the morning show now, and for many years, and he's so good. I mean, and they made him.
A
The
star.
radio made him
Yeah.
like this, and the boss from Kiss FM gave him all these chances. So, you know, for them to give somebody from here that chance, it's just so amazing. And then we were even able to accomplish this.
Well, that's what I asked you. Culturally, do you think there's a difference with radio there versus here?
Well, I think it's very difficult for anybody from the world out there to get a chance in the States. Very difficult. It's like a closed chapter.
Yeah.
I actually think it's the same in Germany because what we did never happened. So we created some that never happened. Radio from here, no, I really don't think there's a big difference. I think the only big difference is the language.
Yeah.
And everything sounds a little bit cooler in English than in German.
Okay. See, I would think it would sound a lot cooler in German because I'm
maybe-
so used to English.
Maybe, you know, our language is always a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
And I think being funny is more funny in English than
Okay.
in German.
Interesting.
It really is.
Okay.
But Kiss FM is a funny radio station. So, no, there's not a big difference. It's just like, because, you know, I watched a lot of podcast, from here. No, it's not it's not a lot of difference.
Okay.
I think so. I just think, you know, America is America. So it's just, everybody just think it's this big thing. So my daughter want to do an internship in New York. I think for her, it's just as big as for somebody to go to Germany. You know, IHAD is very big. So you cannot really compare.
One to the other.
Yeah, you can't really, because you have a little bit from everything. And we just have these separate radio stations. Well, you have separate radio stations
We do.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's okay. Okay.
So
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's fun here. It's fun over there. I think
Okay.
it depends what kind of radio station you go to.
Right.
I definitely think the music is better here. I have to say.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you're a big hip hop head. You like
I
hip
am
hop.
R&B, hip hop.
What are some of your favorite hip hop artists?
Well, I'm in love with LL Cool J.
The ladies love LL.
I think he's supposed to be my husband, but
Right.
but you know, I'm very respectful to
Of
his
course.
wife.
I'm sure his wife appreciates that.
No, I like every old hip hop artist. That was my thing. This is how I grew up. I think it saved my life because this is what I fell into. When I got a little bit older, I went into, I love R&B. I love Joe. I really love Joe. But I listen to anything.
Yeah.
I'm a big
hip hop head too. I felt like as a kid, because I was like a real street kid, so I felt like I could connect to it. Like I felt myself in a lot of things, you know, and there was a lot of emotion and a lot of expression. And I don't know, I feel like as a creative person, like I have a tendency to align yourself with things that feel deep and resonate. And I think
so too.
hip hop does that.
And I think this is why I started listening to it. So I started listening to hip hop when I was 13, and I never got away from it anymore. And I have to say something too about LL Cool J. Do you know how many times he looked at my stories? And I don't really know why.
He's in your stories?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't really know why. I know it's not him.
Right.
It's his team. But I stopped making fun. So everybody's making fun of me at Kiss FM because whenever he looked at my stories, you know, I always had to write some in my stories. I said, hey, why don't you just say hi?
Right.
Don't just look at my stories.
Well, listen, he's married. He better not try to slide into your DMs.
No, he can't. No, just hey, hi. I realize you're a big fan.
Right. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah. So your book is out.
My
from
book
the
is
Bronx
out.
to Berlin.
From the Bronx to Berlin.
Yeah. So tell us where people can find that, and like I know it's part of your story and your journey and your platform.
I really wanted to. So when I started having the project, so it's like it kept me really busy. But the book was a really big, goal for me.
Yeah.
So it's like I actually can say I fell in love with the Bronx. So the book is called From the Bronx to Berlin, the borough I fell in love with, because it was so important for me to people hear about some of the people I met in the Bronx. So there's actually really people I feature in the book. And they were so talented, that had so nice stories. But I couldn't be there for everybody. But I wanted to talk about their stories. And I make myself a little naked in the book too, because, I think you have to like open up yourself. I think people should see. You don't have to be ashamed of your story. Nobody asked to be born into a certain kind of life. Sometimes we don't have a chance. Sometimes we fall into problems without wanting to fall into problems. And I wanted people to see, hey, I'm not the woman you might think I am.
Yeah.
I had a life too. And it was very important for me is... You can find it on Amazon. So it's like when you put on Amazon From the Bronx to Berlin, my book comes up first. I created the cover. It's a hip hop cover.
I saw it. It's dope.
Yeah. I love the cover. I fell in love with the cover.
It's very Bronx.
Very Bronx. I wanted that. A lot of people didn't understand why I found myself in the Bronx, but I can honestly say I healed in the Bronx. I really, really did. And this is why I wanted my book to come out. So in this book, I kind of tease I have a first book I wrote, which is not out. I did that on purpose. I wanted to bring From the Bronx to Berlin out with my project.
Yeah.
But I kind of tease my first book. My first book is called the Tears of the Laughing Sun. So it's kind of my story in a story. And I wrote that book because I really believe I can help a lot of people out there. Because there's people out there who really believe life is over. I can't handle this. It's not possible. But I believe you can put your trauma into positive. And I believe we all have the tools inside of us. It's very hard to bring the tools out. It takes a lot of work. But it is possible for everybody. I believe I'm a good proof that even though you had a terrible life, you can make a good life out of it. And a good life doesn't mean having a lot of money.
Right.
A good life means having a good outlook on life, loving to get up. Just first of all, you gotta love yourself. If you don't love yourself looking in the mirror, nothing else is gonna work. And I think you can kind of find that in From the Bronx to Berlin. Like in my other book, everything is possible if you want to. It is, Of course, there's going to be haters out there who say, no, this happened to me and this happened to me.
Yeah.
But it is possible.
You need those people too.
You need those. Along my journey, I had people that triggered me so bad, where I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. I give up. I wanted to give up, I don't know, so many times. But one day later, I set myself down and say, you meet all these people to show you your healing is not done.
Right.
Because you're here all your life and you have things to work on.
And the haters co-sign your purpose.
That's true.
Let me tell you something. Jesus needed Judas to get to the cross.
You're right. That's true.
Right?
That is true.
And we all have those people that are around us that, they might not have our best interests at heart. Yeah. But we're to forgive them, we're to love them, we're to show them grace and mercy and keep it pushing.
I'm going to tell you, the thing that happened to me in New York, I am so happy it happened to me. I mean, I was devastated. I cried. I was angry. And now I'm so happy it happened because I'm grateful. If it didn't happen, I would have not woke up. I would have not realized myself, oh my God, Petra, you still have a problem. We need these things to realize, this is not like being happy 24/7.
Right.
So I'm grateful for everybody who triggered me, who treated me wrong, who tried to stop me. I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
And I wish them all the best in their life because I hope they can heal.
We do, and I pray that for people.
Yeah,
right?
me
and,
too.
and I'm big on, like, I don't believe that God sends evil things. I
No.
believe that there are evil people
I think
who
so, too.
cause evil things to happen, right, and do evil things unto people.
Right.
Right? And whatever God uses, like, he'll allow that to create healing for us too.
I think so too.
Right? So it's kind of full circle.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I believe when you do some good, so you want to do some really wonderful, helpful, there will always be the devil behind who's going to try to stop you.
Well, that's your sign, because you're
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
you're moving in the right direction.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people understand that wrong. A lot of people think, oh my God, I have to stop
Let me
this.
stop.
So every time I realize something is trying to stop me, it's getting difficult.
Yeah.
I try to pull myself together and think, okay, I will show you. So, I mean, we all human. We're going
Yeah.
to feel bad. We're going to feel angry. But
Frustrated.
yeah, but I really, there's a lot of evil things happen in the world. And this is why we have to try to make the best out of it. So I always tell people, you hate what is going on out there, but you got to start with yourself. If you
Right.
keep on hating other people, you can't complain what is happening in the world.
This is true.
Start with you.
Yeah.
So,
Well, your story is remarkable.
thank you.
What you're doing with the radio and everything that you have going on is remarkable. You've built this beautiful family, 2 beautiful kids.
Yes.
You have a lot to be proud of.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you, my kids are the best thing I have ever created in this life. My son is 36, my daughter 24. I never had problems in 36 years, and I believe God wanted me to have my kids because He know I needed them,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be the person I am today if I wouldn't have them.
Right.
So every day I'm grateful for my kids. It's like, what can I have more?
That's awesome. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yes, Petra
Byers.
Byers.
Yes.
From the Bronx to Berlin.
From the Bronx to Berlin.
Thank you for being here on Power Move.
Thank you too.